Welcome to this webinar or podcast. Thank you very much for joining. I think we'll wait just 1 minute for a few more people to join. I see people are, checking in. So we'll start in a minute. Just get comfortable, grab a coffee, whatever. We'll start in a minute. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. We'll start in a few seconds. People are joining. Very nice. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate your interest, and because it's a very specific topic, it's a very special topic, but I felt I have to address it, and I will tell you why in a minute. So without further ado, let's start. Let's kick it off. So first of all, a small disclaimer. So what we will talk about today, it's just my own view, my own reflection. It's an idea. I want to trigger innovation. I want to show you how I think and what I built. So it's not a solicitation to buy something or to invest in a certain way, but it's just to trigger discussion and reflection. Okay. So I prepared a small agenda for us. Very easy, very straightforward. So a small introduction, then the origin of why I think supply chain methods applied to investment can be a good idea or can be a way to make things progress. Why investor might need this now. So which supply chain method I use, how I designed the first AI native investor OS, and where AI fits in this process. So that's it. I guess we'll take 45 minutes together, and let's kick it off. So the central question for today is: what if funds ran like high-performing supply chain? So supply chain have to be resilient. Supply chain are getting more and more complex. They are in fast-moving environment. So they have been in the past year a lot of innovation, a lot of tools that have been implemented to make supply chain more resilient and secure flows. So what if this kind of end-to-end process is a path, maybe not the only one, but a path to the next level of modern investing. So let's see how we can answer this question. So my name is Arnaud. I'm the CEO of Visontio. I've been spending the last 15 years selling technical sales, pre-sales, supply chain software. And basically, supply chain software are there to optimize supply chain management. And what it means, optimization means accelerating flows, reducing the risk, but also maintaining cost efficiency. So this combination is, what you try to achieve when you optimize supply chain flows. And I think accelerating decision, reducing the risk, and make sure we have a cost efficiency or really nice exit can be also interesting for investor, I guess. So I'm very familiar with all these supply chain methods and processes, and I want to apply them to investing now. So the goal is to reduce the IC prep. This is a big task for venture capital, for VCs, for investor, basically analysts, and detect risk as fast as possible. In Visontio currently, I announce less than 6 hours. In a few months, it can be much, much faster. So Visontio is the first AI native investor operating system. It's build around AI. We are using a lot of AI agents, different, to gather public data. We are using methods to gather non-public data, but not only financial data, but also on product, to make sure we have impactful and up-to-date KPIs for instant comparison, benchmarking, real-time alert, deal flow management, instant reporting, all in one workspace. So end-to-end. And this is a very important point. So this is a question, how did I realize that supply chain work? What did I learn about supply chain software? And the first thing I learned is that, like in every chain, the weakest link is setting the pace, So these are 8 learnings I gathered throughout my career in the past 15 years. And the constraint set the pace, not the average. So I think this is also important for investor to understand that. And this will be also a key element of the process I'm designing here. When you are in a high volatile environment and fast moving environment, it might destroy your performance, or you need to keep up the pace. Otherwise you are left behind and your decisions are already outdated when you made them, right? And this is the situation at the moment. You need to reduce the lead time, and you need to, of course, you need work in progress, and you need capacity for that. But you cannot start everything and finish nothing. Okay, you have to set limit for work in progress and capacity, and know your limit. Data freshness is a non-negotiable. You need to have very actual data, and here AI can help us a lot. You need to have, let's say, buffer or security, especially around bottlenecks. We look at it. You need to have indicators and alerts based on these indicators, but it's, you should not place your alert on the outcome, but on the root cause, So you have to really think about what is the trigger for an event. So I need to monitor the trigger and not the event. Exceptions, there are always some exceptions. So you need to document them and make sure you learn. In software, we talk about postmortems. You need to learn from mistakes or from risk that occurs. And again, the last but not least is when you want to optimize something, you need to think it as a process from end to end. So you cannot optimize just a part and then the rest we'll see, or you really need to think to design the end-to-end process, and then it's a reverse engineering. So it's the same when you design a software, and this is what I did with Visontio. You start from what you want to see or to show to your customer, to your users, and then reverse engineering to design the whole process from the start, from the sourcing, right? So I know this is what I learned from supply chain, and I realized, okay, this can be applied to investor, and I want to help investor. And I realized because I work for 4 amazing software company in the past 15 years, Transporion, Alpega, Veru, Prewave. So startups, and there I realized, okay, growth can come from new customer, more turnover, more features, added value, and so on. But without a strong investor or strong pool of investor in the background, you cannot grow as fast as you need to win against the competition, because your competitor are also growing, are also fast. So you need to have investors that provide not only capital but also support, can be legal, technical, anything that can bring you forward. And I will not go into details, but all the companies I've been working for have I've had some funding rounds. I've accepted some venture capital, and what I noticed is that all investors wanted to have the same information, but it was always communicated in different ways. You had PowerPoint, Excel file, emails, board meetings, preparation. I will not tell where, but preparation was always a bit, let's say, last minute, and the KPIs, we need to adjust a few things, so there is no panic outbreak, and everything is quiet until the next quarter. So I felt that this need to be harmonized, streamlined, organized, because this is what I saw in supply chain. Transporion is providing a really powerful tool. At the beginning, it was for the communication, to streamline the communication between shipper and carriers, right? So this was the area to streamline this communication, and it was also an inspiration. If we can streamline the communication between shipper and carriers, we can streamline the communication between investor and their startup and their companies. So this was the idea, and I saw that, and I also saw that for investor, the business is not getting easier, right? You have a lot of startup, a lot of new creation on the market, and just 25% return capital. So it's a very risky game, let's say. A lot of great ideas, but you know that in the life of a startup, a lot of things can go wrong, and there are not many startups that survive the fifth year, for example. So it's I can share with you the exact numbers. There are a lot of startup creation every year, but the success rate is very low. The product that are being built by these awesome founders are more and more complex. I come from the software industry. Some software are really complex, getting very complex now, and the easier you can build connections and APIs, the more complex and the more data you need to process, and you have really very complex solution here. And I'm not sure that all investors fully understand the product and the feature and the value in each detail. You can miss signals because there are so much signals. There are maybe some information that reach the investor late, and so on. So it's also not ideal. Analyst time could be used more for more added value tasks, not just researching information or looking at news website half a day. It's not very productive. Investors are using a lot of tools. I will go into detail, but there are a lot of data sources, Crunchbase, PitchBook. You have a lot of data sources, and you have a lot of tools that are used, BI tools, communication tools. So this can be also maybe simplified, let's say, or condensed. And last but not least, heavier compliance and regulatory headwinds, especially in the EU, but also everywhere in the world. You have more and more restrictive or legislation that protects data privacy, and therefore also gathering data is becoming harder and more difficult. But you need those data, so it's also something maybe you should gather data while you can, right? So these are, I think, the problem that investors are facing. But if you see more or other problems, and if you are an investor yourself, please feel free to reach out, to tell me, to comment, to add some information. I would be curious to know which other problem you think should be addressed as well. So now we we'll apply some supply chain methods to hopefully solve this problem, some partially, some fully. And the first thing is, there is a methodology that is core in supply chain that has been designed by the Supply Chain Management Association, or the Association for Supply Chain Management. It was the Supply Chain Management Council before, and it's the SCORE methodology. So SCORE stands for Supply Chain Operation Reference, and it's a 6-pillar plan or methodology where you first plan your strategy, you design your supply chain, okay? You do this network design and optimization. Where are your customer? Where are your suppliers? So, you design, you plan things. And in investment, it's the same. You need to have a strategy. Where do you want to invest? In which vertical? In which kind of company? In which size of company, in which stage do you want to invest in Series B, or you want to invest in pre-seed? So you need to plan that. Then source. So again, you need to find your partner, your carriers, your warehouses in supply chain. And when you map it to capital management, it's the same. You need to search for good investments, for high potential companies, for the hidden champion, let's say. Then obviously make. So you need to produce things and pack them and so on. And in investment, it's the same. You have to benchmark, you have to normalize KPIs, evaluate them, conduct diligence, and write your IC memo to finally take a decision. Deliver, you deliver the funds, but not only. You are also responsible for, let's say, growing the company. So you, as an investor, you provide funds, but you are also there to add value and make sure this company will be successful, will grow, and you will have in the next step, in the return phase, a really nice exit, And so I think this is the methodology. And enable, obviously you need the right tools, and you need processes, tools, methodology that will support this whole chain of operations. And here Visontio can enable investor with a end-to-end OS. That's the idea. So you see, even if you are not coming from the supply chain business, I think you can understand this 6-pillar plan. And we can translate also this wording into the investment equivalent, investing equivalent. So in supply chain, the best strategy, in my opinion, and this is what companies are doing for the past 10 years, it's a control tower, right? You monitor all your flows in a central place. Can be global, regional, local, anyway. But you need a control tower that is aware of inbound, outbound, and all your flows. And I think for capital, it's the same. You need to have a software that is built like a control tower to monitor your whole pipeline, to reduce the time to decision. The lead time is the time to decision for an investor, and normalize all this information, because information is power, and if you have the information first, you probably do the best investment. So this is the idea, and doing this exercise, I noticed, these 8 learnings that we talked about just before can be translated into the Visontio process. And so, first of all, we have in Visontio a deal flow Kanban in the portfolio. We have benchmark. We have automated IC report with a scheduler. So here we are trying to reduce the time to decision without losing quality of information, and so increasing the deal rate. Reduce the time to decision, increase the win rate. Then we want to have real-time KPIs, real-time comparison, because volatility We talk about it. A lot of startups are getting created, getting funded everywhere. So it's a fast-moving environment. So here you need to move fast as well. And we'll talk about it. But here can AI play a key role? Queues are the system, but you need to manage them, and that's why we have also the standard intakes and AI enrichment to reduce the noise and reduce the time to IC, to investment committee, without the need for new headcounts. Then data freshness, of course, so you need to have accurate and actual data. So here, AI agents, we have 16 agents in the Visontio platform at the moment. Might sound a bit much or a lot, but trust me, you need those, and there will be more in the future. You need to monitor those bottlenecks and those buffers that you have, and the longer, there is always a cost of doing nothing. So you need to act fast, and that's why real-time KPIs alerting is very important here. Monitor the right indicators. Don't monitor the effect, but monitor the cause. So here we have also agent calculating predictions and monitoring signals. So this is a very interesting part. Monitor your exceptions and document your exception. Learn from them. So here, with the alert, we have notes, report, and the goal here is to reduce what we call in supply chain the MTTA or MTTR, but maybe it's also a familiar term for investors, mean time to acknowledgement and mean time to recovery. So how long it takes for you to acknowledge a risk and how long it takes to mitigate this risk. So this is, in the introduction I mentioned 6 hours. It will be much less in the future, so we are working on that. And yes, Visontio is designed as an end-to-end process to make sure we have a fully, let's say, working process. And I think we can now look at the process I designed, because it's maybe also interesting for you guys. So it's business. I think supply chain and investing are the purest form of business, because it comes down to the same process: input, processing, output, auditability. So this is the same. If you produce something, you need raw materials. You produce it. You create a finished or semi-finished product, and you need to document and to be aware of the whole chain. So when you invest, it's the same. You source, you compare, you monitor, you evaluate, you grow, you report, and you decide. So you see on the slide the user flow in Visontio and the process flow basically in the background. And we have a lot of agents for input processing, for comparability, predictions, and so on, and also writing the reports and so on. So, but we'll look at it. So yes, this solution is designed end-to-end for investor and based on supply chain best practices. That's the idea of Visontio. And I think it's quite new because, yes, we have competitors, obviously. So you all know Crunchbase, PitchBook, maybe some Deal Room or Deal Cloud and so on. So there are different categories. So there are those data sources, mostly on financial KPIs. But we saw that also the product KPIs are kind of important. And you have those investor CRMs, let's call it. So here Visontio is a bit different because it's a new category. I think it's the layer. And again, this is inspired by supply chain solution. We ingest automatically all your data sources. So bring your own license and we ingest those information in Visontio, and we can integrate with your existing tool through APIs if you want. So it's a really providing this layer that will aggregate, standardize, make things comparable and organized to then have an automated output, and that's the IC report or QBR report, or really any report you might need to take a educated decision. So yeah, I think these are the same physics that govern goods and capital flow. You need to map the end-to-end value stream and standardize, and this is what I just said. So you see the translation, lead time to decision. When you monitor your inventory, you need to be very precise. You need to know exactly how many items you have in your warehouse or at your customer or at your plant. And this is the same for investor. You need to know exactly how your money is used, is spent, how much is left. Is the runway, is it enough cash for 12 months runway or not? And you need to know it now, not 2 months after, because then it's too late, and so you are 2 months behind. So this is the idea of Visontio, and AI. It's the first AI native software. AI is a must. So you cannot do without it. And where it fits, easy, almost everywhere, except at the end where you take the decision. So we have AI RAG crawler agents for sourcing new leads and gathering data about companies you want to invite on the platform. We have AI agent that will compare company and give you a ranking from the best to the worst investment using the Visontio score. We have a monitoring agent, because when you have invested in a startup and it's in your portfolio, you need to be informed as soon as something happens in your at this company, because maybe you have 200 companies in your portfolio all over the world, and if something is mentioned in the local news, maybe you don't have access to it. The software will find it. You need predictive analytics. It's very helpful to, based on the historical data and based on other market information, the software calculate prediction, and you can do some simulations. So it could be also a lifesaver or deal saver, and AI summarizing agents for reports redaction, and in the end, you have all information, well structured, top actual, and you can take the best decision. So it's really, we should not be afraid of AI. We should really use it in a smart way, and this is what we do at Visontio for investors. So it's the time. It's the time, because it. AI is getting more and more powerful. A lot of, or almost all software now embed AI and use AI, and it's really the best time to start using it. And the easiest way is to take a software that is designed end to end for your business. So the key takeaways is, I repeat myself, but it's very important. Optimize the whole process end to end, not just elements, not just part. The weakest link of the chain set the pace, so the constraints. So you need to protect and to secure and to identify those bottlenecks. Standard work and rework. So the more you standardize, the easiest and the faster you can move forward. Top actual data. Clear definitions, and this is how you I think take the best decision. Again, it's an idea, it's a concept, it's fuel for reflection and innovation. I would love to know if you guys are investor, if you agree to this, if you think it's interesting. Feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to debate on those topics. I think it's fascinating. And I would love to hear from you. Now, thank you very much for attending this webinar, podcast. And I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, thank you very much. Have an awesome day. See you guys.